Rabbit hole recap.
So that, because I knew I wouldn't be able to go live right away when I stumbled upon this shit, and I did not want to forget about how I stumbled upon it in the order and, how exactly I got here, because I did not want to, I wanted to be able to tell you guys, like, how I came about it and the steps, and, like, because y'all are already going to think I'm freaking batshit crazy. And like, how the hell did you get here? Because trust me, like, y'all can ask Eddie and Ruben and Puff Muffin. Like, I be saying the same shit. And then I confirm, like, okay, am I crazy? Like, am I reaching? And then if Puff Muffin and Ruben be like, oh, I think you're onto something, and it's not crazy, I'm like, all right, there's confirmation, I'm good. Like, so if you got, like, if I catch hell, I'm taking them with me. Just kidding, kind of. So, okay. Let me go all the way back to what I was looking into at the time, okay? Because I was listening to Chris Proudfoot go off on one of Seth's private investigators, okay? And y'all already know how I feel about this case and about that lovely, amazing human being to begin with. So I'm already, like, ears perked up, like, oh, a hail to the no. He's not saying these things that he's saying. Okay. And I zeroed in on a specific comment, a couple of them, but what led me down this rabbit hole was a specific comment that he said. Okay. And I'm going to play it just so that you guys can kind of get the vibe that I'm in whenever I got down this rabbit hole. Because every time I go down a rabbit hole, whatever I'm, like, laser focused on, or I'm listening for, is kind of where the rabbit hole will lead me. So that's why I say a lot of this, because I'm trying to bring you guys in on how I get to this stuff that I get, because I trust and believe I'm not just typing this into Google and it's coming up. It's a process, and it's a um just a lot of random thoughts that will turn into Google searches usually, and then I'm like, oh my god. But I wrote them down specifically so that I don't lose anybody along the way. So this should be fun. I'm excited. Think it or over, like, dramatize it. And if he's even thinking it's sus, I was like, oh shit, I've done messed up and fell into something here. Because y'all don't even know. Like, me, me and Eddie are probably the ones that differ the most on opinions. Like, we're still friends, but he's always like, nah, you're tripping. It's just this, in the simple explanation. And I'm like, no, dude, you're just dumb and you just need to say it my way. And he's like, no, not happening, Swampy. But I respect his you know, him being firm on what he believes. However, he's just wrong. I'm just 99% of the time. Okay. So, sorry, had to get a drink of Mountain Dew. If Ruben's here, don't cuss me out. You can. I'll forgive you. Right, right. Oh my god, I'm getting excited. Alright. So, let me show you guys this clip of Proudfoot so that, we can kind of set the mood, so to say. Ew, that's what we're... Okay. And then we'll go from there.
Being fine, Sebastian, and just being a stupid fucking cunt.
Okay, well, let me ask you something just for a second. Like, are you sure it was her and not like one of these sleuthers or something? Because
No,
other
it's
people
her on the fucking show.
Okay.
It is her.
Okay, because there's other
I think
people
it was
that are
on
digging.
Web Slut.
Yeah.
Or Sleuth, whatever the fuck that woman's name is.
Web sleuths.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
It was on that fucking show.
but I don't see I can't see Chloe just giving out that information though.
She did, you're missing my statement.
Okay.
I didn't say she gave the information out. I said she made a statement that she had it and wouldn't fucking release her.
Web sleuths giving out that information though.
She did, you're missing my statement.
Okay.
I didn't say she gave the information out. I said she made a statement that she had it and wouldn't fucking release it. That right there was a trigger to start this fucking shitstorm. When she shouldn't have opened her fucking mouth in the beginning.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of fucking PI or whatever the fuck she thinks she is or how she does this. But if she needs a fucking education and schooling on being a PI, I guarantee you I'll find somebody who is truly a PI and let them school the fuck out of this woman.
All right. Well, let me try to figure it out because I know neither her or I have given out any of Katie's information.
It's not giving it out.
Yeah.
All you have to do is start one sentence. I have the information. I'm not going to release it.
Yeah.
She started a shitstorm.
Actually,
she better figure out how to fucking fix it.
You know, something else I'll tell you, there was a woman that reached out to me that before I had ever even, there was like
Some medical place or something.
Yeah, it's
right.
a problem with a lot of the.
Fine, that's understandable. Personally, I think everybody fucking starts looking for shit.
Yeah.
Ain't even worth the fucking bacteria of the foam that forms on the fucking worst form of bacteria on Earth. That's what I truly feel.
Yeah, I feel you. I hear you. I can feel it through the phone.
Oh, trust me. Chloe's lucky I'm not standing in fucking front of her.
Okay.
Like I said.
This is the comment right here. And it's not, it's what he says, but it is also how he says it, okay? Pay close attention to this remark he makes right here. Now, he's talking to Heather, which is the private investigator that has stepped back or whatever with Seth. There was Seth and Chloe. They were both on Web Sleuths that day that Chris and Seth were both on there. But Chloe is the one that's still working the case. Heather is the one that has either, I don't know if she was asked to step back or if she stepped back on her own. Regardless, whenever the Tony guy, the PA guy or whatever you call him, press guy, that's also working on Caleb case, Caleb Harris, she stepped back since he became involved. I don't know if that has anything to do with each other. Just it is what it is. The timing. He came in the picture, she stepped out. So that's who he's talking to on the phone. He's talking about the other private investigator, which is Chloe. And what he's responding to is because she said on the show that he disrespectfully called web sluts, which is web sleuths. And because she was on that show and she made a comment that she had information in regards to Katie's past and her family's background, but she wasn't going to release it. And because of that, according to Chris, that made the public start looking into it. And now everybody knows and it's going around everybody. Wah, wah, wah. You know, anyways, keep my comments to myself for now.
I will bring the fucking cops when I see her. Lucky I'm not standing of the foam that forms on the fucking worst form of bacteria on Earth. That's what I truly feel.
Yeah, I feel you. I hear you. I can feel it through the phone.
Oh, trust me. Chloe's lucky I'm not standing in fucking front of her. Like I said, I will bring the fucking cops when I see her.
Okay, well.
And it was more my protection than hers. Because right now, you can inform her. She fucking calls me, says my fucking name, anything of that fucking nature involving Katie or me or anybody else, I'm going to slap the shit out of her with the same fucking thing I told you. I'll cease and desist letter and then let her open her fucking mouth one more time. And then I've got her dead to fucking rights.
I think that's
I'm trying to be as civil as possible.
Isn't that the only interview she's even done?
I mean, Like I said, I will bring the fucking cops when I see her.
Who else do you know that calls a private investigator to threaten another private investigator, but includes bringing the cops in said threat? He didn't say, you better tell her I'm going to call the police on her. He didn't say, you better tell her I'm going to file charges or civil litigation against her. He said, she's lucky we're not face to face, because I would bring the fucking cops. In other words, he just slipped in another way. That's his normal way of intimidating people. Because this is the same police department, mind you, that him and his mommy used to bully and ultimately kidnap his daughter from his ex-wife until it got fought. Well, luckily, by the grace of God, she was able to obtain a lawyer, and a really good one, and fought for custody back. But if she would have not got that last minute lawyer, he would have absolutely taken her daughter, and there was absolutely nothing she could do about it. And then after she won said court case and got custody of her daughter, and he had a court order to release the daughter back to her, they had a public meeting spot, which was the Gallatin Police Department, which was where they were to do this exchange so that it would be civil. And you guys heard the interview. Don't even get me started. So this is the same police department that the Proudfoots and the Bowersocks are very familiar with using to their advantage. I said what I said. Sue me. I don't give not teetotal shit. Facts are facts, and you don't like the way I say it, then maybe you should change the way you police, you scroungy fucks. And I'm just getting started. So, that comment rubbed me the wrong way. So, I typed into my Google search Gallatin Police Department, or Gallatin, Tennessee Police Department. Okay, first, just a little side note before we get too deep in this rabbit hole and I get distracted. Gallatin, Tennessee is 33 minutes and 30.7 miles away from Nashville. Just a little food for thought. Gallatin to Hendersonville, 21 minutes, 12.8 miles. Okay. The Proudfoot / Bowersocks Family Church is in Gallatin. Remember that. We're going to come back to that. Okay. Proudfoot's mother, Kathy Bowersocks, is the Homeowners Association board president in Gallatin. Oh, we're just getting started. And then Kathy and her husband live in Gallatin. Okay. Now this is going to, oh, and just another food for thought. 22 minutes, 13.4 miles is how far Chris and Katie live from Bowersocks. Okay. Now, that was my drum roll. Sorry. So, I type into my search bar after I'm doing all these trying to get an idea for myself where this is at in location to, because I know where Nashville is. Just trying to get it on a map to where I am a little bit more familiar with the, what's it called? Geography and all that, So, then I wrote down that I have another thing that has caught my eye that I've had, that it was literally like one of the very first times I heard Seth talk on an interview, something that he said that Chris told him that I have written down in red, and I've rewritten it down every time I talk about something because it's something that really caught my attention that I have not been able to make sense out of. I don't know necessarily exactly how he worded it, but you guys in the chat, I'm sure, have heard it. I don't know if it stood out to you like it did me, but it was Seth talking about one of his conversations with Chris very early on in this, and that Chris told him that if he wanted to find his son, or if he wanted to, if he wanted to know where Sebastian was, he needed to go to church or go back to church. Pretty much in a nutshell, don't quote me verbatim. If you want to find your son, go to church. Okay. So I have that written down, and it's always kind of been a little bizarre to me, but it's never really, I've never had the aha moment. Okay. So it's always something that is in the back of my mind though. So finally, I had a little bit of time the other night, and I was already, looking into something that I was curious about. So I was like, you know what? I'm just curious about where the Proudfoots and Bowerstocks go to church because, and his mom has like post out the wazoo on her public Facebook page that at church, and always tagging the church that they're at, and always doing something with church, right? So the church that is in question of Grant Solomon's case, because the school that he went to and the baseball team that he played for, I'm sorry, was a Christian, not Christian. It's called Grace Chapel, and it's a church, but it's also like the education is it's the same church. Okay, well this church is in Gallatin, okay, but it's on Long Hollow Pike Road. And if you guys are familiar with looking into Sebastian's case, that is the main road that Sebastian lives off of. So I'm like, whoa, that's a weird coincidence. But this isn't even where it gets to the actual fuck part. That's coming, okay? So then I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, I wonder where this church is that they go to. Now, mind you, I've already told you the Bowerstocks live in Gallatin. And just to put in perspective, they live 9 minutes and 4.9 miles away, 9 minutes from where uh, Grant lost his life at. Okay, just to put in perspective, could be not saying it's related at all. I am just saying into proximity. This is where we're this is where we're talking about. Okay, so this church is called Freedom Church. It's located in Gallatin, and you guys, you fucking guys, let me show you something that is going to blow your mind. Like, it is what it is. Okay, now I'm on the homepage for this church. See, I typed in Freedom Church, Gallatin, Tennessee. It's the first thing that comes up, and I clicked it just so you guys can see. You're more than welcome to do this yourself. Fact check me. I would love it if you did, because I feel like I'm losing my mind. However, let's keep going, okay? So I scrolled down, and it's pretty, they got a lot of online social media presence, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, well, I wonder if it's any of the same people that are, preachers or whatever. I was looking for familiar names because I had done the same thing with the church that Grant, or not really Grant, Aaron, goes to and connected to, and we'll get to that later. But that's what I was looking for whenever I did this. I was like, because it's in Gallatin. But anyway, so just to kind of give you guys what I was looking for when I found this, okay? We're going to click on About, which is up here. Okay, we exist to reach people to know God, okay? Our church, view directory. So I click that, right? We got Pastor Terrell and Shanda Somerville, the lead pastor. Okay, keep going. We have elder team. Our elder team works together to provide accountability as they oversee the ministry of our church. From left to right, we have Chris Vaught, Tyler Feller, Terrell Somerville, Stacy Graves, and Tim Wright. So I said, what did that just say? Pastors. Brian Reynolds, worship pastor. Caleb Goosetree, operators pastor. Josh Brewer, connections pastor. Stacy Walker, care and prayer pastor. Terrell Somerville, lead pastor. Tim Wright, executive pastor. And Tyler Feller, Freed YTH pastor. And if you guys are wondering what that stands for, that's the youth pastor. Oh yes, you have, Bluebell, because he's a true crime content creator on YouTube. Honestly, I think Tyler Feller is what led me to Doug's, because he was covering the Dylan Rounds case. And if you're familiar with where I come from and how I got into this, he was one of the first people to give asshole that we won't mention over here a platform, along with Doug and a couple of the others. But he was the one with the major following, that would gave him a reason to think he's relevant for the first few months that Dylan Round's case became a freaking complete and total shit show. If you know, you know. So,
questions and listening to the responses from his mother.
And what did you form any opinion based upon what you were hearing?
Knew my son was missing, and I just started watching body language, listening to words coming out. Did I form an opinion? Yeah, I formed an opinion. I am only human.
And what was that opinion?
That once again, my son, something has happened to my son under her watch. And once again, she wasn't being an adult. She wasn't being a parent taking care of an autistic child.
So, as you're listening and watching her, now she was home, it was just Sebastian and his mom that were home at that time?
When I got, yes, because when I got there, it was just Katie, and I think Chris's mom was there, but it was just, when the incident happened, it was just Katie and Sebastian at the house, from my understanding.
Now, I've got to imagine your mind is racing at the time you're hearing all this information. So, as you're hearing the information from Katie and
told him to go to bed. And he come out of his room where he was playing, and he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. Love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room. I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning, and that's when he wasn't here. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom, I love you." We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's, that morning he was laughing, he was joking.
He did have a really good weekend, actually. When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to go to bed, he said, "I love you, Mama," and he said, "I love you, puppies." A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
So to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, "Hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed." Now, mind you, we stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, "Hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed." Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
Wait. Wait. He's got the story already.
Wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school.
Her son.
And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house.
Her son.
Oh my.
Oh, could he distance himself any more from this poor boy?
Mom made an effort to look and search several times. Mom has called me at the time and asked me. She was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? She goes, yeah, I cannot find him. I said, well, hang on. I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do.
What time?
And within 10 minutes, the call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed. Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
Mhm.
So then mom does go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house. Mom made an effort to look and search several times. Mom has called me at the time and asked me. She was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? She goes, yeah, I cannot find him. I said, well, hang on. I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do. And within 10 minutes, the sheriffs were dispatched to the location.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, good night, Mom, I love you. Said good night to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed, and when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
So in your mind, that's usually around what time? When do you normally wake him up? Around 6 o'clock?
6.
So were you instantly thinking something's wrong, or were you like, he may just be already in the shower, in the living room?
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him. He said, what do you mean you can't find him? I said, he's not in the house.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911, or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
So you said you were on the phone with her, so you were not home?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude Project. So it's, I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me, I was like, what? I was confused. We talked about where he could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
And within minutes, they're there at the home.
Yes, ma'am.
It was rapid fire. They had cars.
They
had cars from here down to
the main
road, as far as I could tell.
So what's going through both of your minds? I mean, are we panicking? Is it this, I think he's probably at a neighbor's house, or what are you thinking?
My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means. But there's answers to questions that have no answers, or questions with no answers right now that we are searching for desperately, and we just don't have that.
Is there anything that happened that day that you think back and there might have been a reason he was possibly upset, or something outside that could have enticed him to go outside? Was there anything that came to mind?
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking. Everyone we were around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving. It'd make more sense if we'd been fighting.
Or he'd been in trouble, but he hadn't been in trouble. So, I mean, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
Sunday, we were out and about. We had a really good day. We were out doing our thing, running around. We had dinner that evening, and when we came home, we had a pretty good evening together as well. He was playing right up until bed. Panicked.
And when you panicked, what'd you do?
First thing I did was call my husband, and I said, he's not here. My husband said, what do you mean he's not here? I said, he's not in the house. And he said, immediately just started, did you check here? Did you check there? Did you look here? And I ran through the house, and at that point I was hysterical, for lack of a word. And we three-wayed the police. And I'm within minutes they were here. I couldn't tell you exactly how long. I know it was fast. And we haven't found him.
When I got the phone call that he was missing, like she said, we asked questions like, where's he at? Check this, check that. And then we called the sheriff's department. I called the sheriff's department. I stayed on the phone pretty much most of the time. And then while I was at work, I asked for a relief, got a relief, got in my truck from Memphis and made my way to Nashville.
And that was, I guess, Monday?
The morning that he was missing, yes.
Okay. And so what was your reaction when you got that call from your wife that Sebastian was missing?
Initially, I was like, oh, he's goofing around again. Here we go. He's like hiding. And then when we talked about the places to check and he's not there, I was like, okay, stop. Instantly. Call the police. Instantly. I'm a black and white kind of guy.
We checked for all of his shoes and none of them are missing. The door was locked. When he went to bed, he was wearing black sweatpants with white stripes down the side, and he had on a black long sleeve black shirt with a print on the front. I'm pretty sure it was one of his
like Star Wars or Halloween or
even Minecraft.
Yeah,
those are the three main things.
That's the three things that majority is on his clothes.
Yeah.
Boy has his flavors. Sunday, the day before he went missing, we got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast to brag. we went and picked up our niece.
Yes,
Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley. And then from there we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. And he's come out of his room where he was playing, and he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. I love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise, and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And about midnight I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock I went to wake him up for school Monday morning, and that's when he went in here. Choice words were used, like, you know, where the F is he, you know. I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that, and he likes to dip behind the, you know, walls and watch, you know, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat, but I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name. And I picked up the phone and I called my husband, and I said, "I can't find him." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "He's not in this effing house. I can't find our son." And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood, and I drove over by the school, and he's already like, at this point I was like hysterical, and I was crying, I was screaming. And he was like, three-wayed. He three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them like, our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way. And I drove back to the house. And 20 days later, we haven't found him.
Sunday morning we got up and I made a fun breakfast for us. Spaghetti pancakes. Google it, y'all. We FaceTime family while we were eating so he could brag, because that's something he likes to do. And we were laughing and joking on FaceTime and having a good time with that. After breakfast, we got a call to go pick up our niece and go take her to meet up. So we did that. We went and picked her up, and we met her mom at BJ's, and we were there with family members. We come home and put our groceries away, and then a little bit later we went to the bowling alley, a local bowling alley here, and we played games. And then and this is just Bubba and I, and we went to dinner, just the two of us, and then come home. He took the trash out because that's his chore. And he come in and he was playing in his room until bedtime. And at bedtime, you know, I told him, I said, "Hey, Bubba, it's time to go to bed." And he goes, "Okay, good night, Mama, I love you." And then he said good night to his puppies. And he went to bed.
Okay, and walk me through what happened. You said that you were on a phone call, you were on the couch, and then you went to bed at midnight. walk me through exactly what transpired during that time before you went to bed at midnight for you.
So, well, my husband, he works out of town a lot. So, we normally sit and talk every evening, and I normally fall asleep on him. And he'll tell me, wake up, or, you got to go to bed. And and that was right around midnight. So I got up and I put the puppies up and I went to bed myself at midnight. And, I went to sleep, obviously. And then at 6 a.m., I went to wake him up for school, and that's when I couldn't find him. And sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time. Take your time. Tell me, did Sebastian take any type of medication before he went to bed, or that would make him sleepy, or if he did take medication, it was just in the morning, or did he take medication at night before he went to bed?
He did take medication nightly and daily.
Okay.
Just for HIPAA reasons, we will not disclose.
I
what the
understand.
medication is.
I was just trying to think.
So now that you've heard the 4 different renditions given, what are your thoughts? Do you catch any inconsistencies? Do you think it sounds scripted? We'll do a live stream and we'll go over this video. In the meantime, let's discuss in the comment section below.
But there's things that just don't add up. His mother was the last one to see him. She's responsible for this, either through negligence at the bare minimum.
Has she been a good mother to Sebastian?
Not in my opinion. This is the 3rd time that there's been an issue. My son's come up missing now under her watch. Time before that, her and Chris let my son get molested and raped in their apartment. And the time before that, I did a well care check because she let a known sex offender who, yes, did their 9 years in prison, but she left my son around that person. You don't do that. If you're a parent, you don't do that. You're supposed to protect your kid. You don't put them in where they can get in any type of harm's way.
Seth, you said something very upsetting. Son Sebastian, your ex-wife, I should say, your ex-wife allowed Sebastian to be in a situation where he was molested and raped?
In California, and Chris in her apartment, they let a child who was 5 years older than my son play with my son and didn't bother to check on him there neither. And he lost his innocence because of it.
Seth, I'm so sorry to hear this. I'm so sorry to hear this. No child should be subjected to any kind of abuse whatsoever. Sexual abuse can be especially traumatic for a young child. Is this something that Sebastian has struggled with since then?
Yeah, I finally was able to actually start getting him therapy for it last year. The fact is that they weren't doing the correct thing, clearing California, and it's just last year finally getting him help because he's a victim, and now I'm finding out not only was he was a victim of that, he's a victim of not getting the help he needs. And I've listened to some of their podcasts where they make fun of him, make fun of his dancing. Chris obviously has this thing about corporal discipline with him, and it's just it's not good.
Seth, I'm so sorry.
I need to find my son,
Right.
and he's going to need extensive therapy now to put him back on the right track.
Yes. Was Sebastian the one who told you about
California? So, and my son did. This happened in California. So, Sheriff's Department, CPS was involved. Sheriff's Department was involved there. They wouldn't give me the kid's name, his last name. But at least the only thing I was able to do there was put the detective over that case in contact with the school psychologist so that at least they could protect the other children from this child.
Right. So no juvenile
California
proceedings commenced or anything like that, Seth, with this child. He wasn't brought to juvenile court.
No, in California, kids 13, they're like, he's too young to prosecute. And they wouldn't do anything about the parents either.
Seth, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My heart breaks for you for so many reasons, and this is just one more of those reasons. Tell me, please, Seth, what else do you want the public to know as people all over are hoping and praying for your son Sebastian's safe return?
That
There was the dispatcher. The call got released from the dispatchers to the deputies and the responding units. In that release of information, you can clearly hear the dispatcher and the cops all say, the dog's got to send this over here at this time.
Okay.
And I mean, for people to say, no, it didn't. Now you're bullshit because
Yeah, and that's what
deputies said that shit in the dispatch.
Track back up, going into the construction site over here, back towards the beach. That's I'm behind you. It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints, anything? You shouldn't have any shoes on. Negative, this is all dry, hard packed. I do have some footprints over here. Right there where you're standing? Yeah, leading right over here to the retaining pond. No shoes, just footprints? My shoes, Max went straight into the pond. Max led me straight to the retaining pond. Over behind Willow Boulevard, he dove right into the water. Yeah, do you see any footprints around it? There was a few footprints in some of the softer dirt, headed straight this way on the track that he was running. Truck 47, what kind of shoe does he wear? Size 10.
Yeah, and then, like I said, the path that they tracked. So, our subdivision, if you're in that subdivision, directly, the next subdivision over to the left is our subdivision.
Okay.
It's called Victoria Place.
Okay.
The scent that they got, as soon as you turn in our subdivision, you're on Keller. Driving all the way up to the very top of the hill at a four-way, you'll see that to the right, they're cutting in the new road that will link
all this together. Okay.
Yeah, at the detention pond.
And do you know how much they actually drained?
They drained the whole thing.
It's okay.
So initially, when they went over to look at it, it was only knee deep. From the picture that you showed me, there's a lot of new runoff. I'm 5'9", and it was knee deep.
Okay.
So, and they even drained it and still walked it.
Okay. So they actually walked it. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is actually information that was told to me by law enforcement.
Yeah. So they actually.
Because I went on me and law enforcement, they put me in a vehicle.
Right.
Drove me around and showed me a bunch of stuff. I'm the only one that they got on.
Okay.
So I can actually give you a little bit more information than what everybody's out there running their mouth. No, I'm not going. So to work backwards from the pond, okay, if you were to walk from the pond, go straight up into the construction site, you'll see where they cut the road and it turns left. If you walk that all the way back, runs into our subdivision.
Okay.
If you go down Kelly, all the way down to Stafford, and walk down towards Stafford toward our house. From our house, if you're looking at my house, I'm going to tell you where the dogs then went. They started on the front porch.
Okay.
Because off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right. They go all the way down the side of the house along the fence.
So they went to the back side, or that
right
to the north.
If you're looking at my house,
okay,
it's going to be the right hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog comes all the way back up into the yard, and then it cuts diagonally to the house next door to us through their backyard. And that is the direction which the dogs take off. Now after that, that's where they get over to the main road, go up Kellen, and head over to the other subdivision.
Okay.
There was a Belgian Malinois, a blue heeler, 2 bloodhounds, and a blue tick. In the 8 days of the variance in searching, in the 8 days, on day 1, the 5 dogs did that. Out of the 8 days, 3 different dogs from 3 different groups went to that same area in that same set. On day 1, 2 of those dogs did the same path. And I'm pretty sure that was the bloodhound and the blue tick.
It was probably a better dog.
Yeah, those 2 were probably the better ones. Now, the guy, I can't remember this guy. I called him Michael, but I think they call him Michel.
Okay.
He's French.
You're what the French call les incompetents.
He's out of North Carolina, I believe, and he trained, he brought his dogs out, and one of his dogs did that same path. From what I was told, that's why I was like, well, there we go, folks. That's why out of all the dogs, there was at least 3 consistent hits that do that
right.
path. And there was a couple dogs, like one dog went over to Long Hole Pike and got there and he lost his scent. The rest of the dogs all picked up scents, but then they go in all different directions and they lose. Yeah, that guy I sent you his info, Ken Wagner.
Okay.
He's the EMA director for Summit County. He was the one, I guess, they were doing. He was responsible for the ground searching and the waterways and the caves and everything.
Okay.
If you can't reach out to him, he can give you more details as far as like the water.
And I'm the Chief Deputy at the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I'll be joined today by Susan Nyland, SUSAN-NILAND, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She's the PIO. I also have with me Sumner County Emergency Management Director Ken Widener, KenWeidner. You guys ready? All right. Morning. I'm Eric Craddock with Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and we're going to come to you today with an update on the Sebastian Rogers case. Sebastian has been missing since late February. Tip that comes in. As I said before, the investigation remains ongoing. The entire community is deeply saddened by what has occurred. We're all extremely concerned for Sebastian's welfare. I want to encourage the community to stay vigilant to report anything that they think may be of some significance to the investigation, no matter how minute it may appear to be to you. Please call 1-800-TBI-FIND with any tips, or the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center at 615-451-3838. We understand the anxiety and the concern that this case has caused in the community. We too share the anxiety and concern for Sebastian. I want to reiterate that we are doing everything we can to find Sebastian and bring him home. Despite the passage of time, the commitment to finding Sebastian remains unwavering. I said this when we scaled the search back. Our commitment to finding Sebastian remains. We will continue to investigate every possible lead that comes in. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office wants to express our gratitude to the community and the many individuals who have helped in the search, the many individuals who have called in tips, the many individuals who have printed flyers and kept Sebastian's face in the news. Nothing would make me happier than to wake up tomorrow morning with a tip that cracks this case wide open and we find Sebastian and bring him home. At this time, I'll turn it over to Susan Allen from the TBI.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for being here. We know how invested everybody is in the search for Sebastian, in finding out what happened to him and bringing him home. And we want to let everybody know he has not been forgotten. Nobody's forgotten about him. Nobody has given up looking for him. At the beginning of this investigation, there was a large land search for him. It was very visible. There were also waterways, lakes, ponds that were searched. There were aerial searches with helicopters and drones and fixed-wing planes. They were done at night. They were done on weekends. They were done during the day. That was very visible, and it was something everybody was able to see. But we want to let you know that even though there is not that high visibility in investigating this case, that we are not done. It's gone back to what could be considered good old-fashioned police work. Interviewing individuals, re-interviewing individuals, checking out leads, rechecking leads. We have been working with other law enforcement agencies who have had, in other jurisdictions, who have perhaps had some complex cases of their own that they have worked on to get tips from them. We have had, this day of technology with everyone having cell phones and doorbells and ring bells and surveillance cameras. That, as you can imagine, has been a bit of a chore to be able to collect all those and then review them. It's important so we know what's out there. We have been reviewing that, reviewing it again. We have had other agencies involved. The FBI has been helpful in that. Secret Service has also been helpful in that. So we are just trying to do whatever we can to advance the investigation. It has not gone to a place where anybody has forgotten about him or is not pursuing this. The parents have been cooperative throughout. At the beginning of the investigation, they have pretty much done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now, so we are pursuing any and all avenues. We do want to caution there are some social media elements out there who purport to have information that is direct from the investigation. I just want to reiterate that that is not the case. Some of the information that is being provided on some of the social media channels is inaccurate, incomplete. Distraction, because a lot of what has been out there in some of the social media channels has been rumors and speculations and theories, and some of that has been advanced and people have caught a hold of it as if it's what's really happening. That has resulted in us getting information that is either, like I said, distracting. It's taking away time and effort from what the agencies need to be doing as far as looking for Sebastian. We have had so far, as of this morning, 314 tips that have come in through the tip line. It's been mentioned, but I'll say it again. It's 1-800-TBI-FIND, We are also taking tips through email, which is tips to TBI, TBI, at tbi.tn.gov. What's next? We want people, as Chief Deputy said, to continue to remain vigilant, get Sebastian's picture out there, continue to share his picture, his information. Now that it's getting to be nicer, well, not today with the weather, but now that the weather has turned warmer, people may be more inclined to be in their yards. If you go out and see anything that looks different, let us know. Something where perhaps a teenager could have hidden. If you have a large amount of property in the area, or something that has any kind of holes or unstable footing or ledges where a teen could have gone to hide or to play, and you don't feel comfortable checking it out, let us know. We'll get somebody from law enforcement to go out there with you, or to check it out themselves. We just want to make sure that every stone is unturned, that there's no stone left unturned, that we want people to make sure that we are looking everywhere we can. We do want to continue to get the tips, but please don't provide information that you might have seen through social media channels. If you have information about Sebastian, about conversations you might have had with him, things he likes to do, places he likes to go, any people he may have mentioned that are in his life, that could be helpful in finding out maybe what he was interested in. Finally, we want to thank the community. We want to thank the media. You guys have been really good about keeping his name in the public's eye. That's really important. And thank you for your diligence in providing that information out there. And as Chief Deputy said, we also want to thank the community. From the very first day, everybody has really been all in as far as whatever they can do to help in the search, to help pass information on, providing water for the teams that were out conducting the ground searches. So thank you again to everybody. I'm going to pass it back to Eric Credit.
The weather is rolling in. We've got time for some questions, so yes, ma'am.
I was curious behind, so sorry if I missed this, but has there been any indication at this point of foul play or anything of that nature?
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
So 5 weeks, and you guys covered so much ground. Searching, going back, researching, checked out every case of a possible sighting, nothing confirmed. Not a trace of Sebastian anywhere. Nothing found. No footprints, no video, nothing.
Nothing that is taken us to locate Sebastian.
And are there any working theories?
We come up with theories almost daily and try and investigate and make sure that we're doing everything we can to find Sebastian.
Share any of those?
No, sir.
2 questions, if I may. Have you ruled out Sebastian's mom's and stepdad's involvement in this case? And as a follow-up, have you cleared their alibi?
I think the TBI said it best. They've been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since day one of this investigation. There is no evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents.
Is them moving to Memphis interfering at all with your investigation? Is it changing possibly the avenues of communication?
No, sir.
You mentioned, when you were asked about recent evidence, we've heard some rumors that seem to have some validity, that there was glasses found within the past few days. Can you confirm that?
There were some glasses found in the past few days.
Have you been able to identify that they were Sebastian's?
We are still investigating.
And on the Cajun Navy, have you found how is that coordination happening? Have you found their work helpful? Are you guys working in unison or separate teams?
The Cajun Navy is operating independently. They have not reached out to us.
Have you found their investigation or their work helpful, or has it been one of the distractions that has been mentioned?
One of the things that I really appreciate they've done is print flyers and keep Sebastian's face out there. It's my hope that one day somebody sees something and calls in and this case breaks wide open and we find Sebastian.
They've claimed they've received threats. To your knowledge, have they filed any police reports or reports to the Sheriff's Department documenting any of these alleged threats?
No, sir.
Are we able to learn anything about what those threats are?
They would have to call the police and report them.
Where does the search go from here? It's been 5 weeks, there's been no signs. Do you believe he's still alive? And what are you guys going to continue working on?
My hope and prayer is that Sebastian is still alive, yes. We're going to continue to work on this investigation and follow up every tip and lead that comes in. Some of this may revert back to us going over some things that we've already done for the 6th, 7th, or 8th time. A fresh set of eyes never hurt anything. We're going to continue to work to find Sebastian.
Have the stories been changing at all? Have you been talking with people, interviewing them for a second time possibly?
There is no evidence to support foul play.
Are there any active current leads that you guys are pursuing?
We have tips called in daily.
Any of those tips seem legitimate enough to expand law enforcement resources?
Regardless of their legitimacy, we're going to follow up on them.
Will there be any other agencies pulled in to help in the search efforts for this case?
I'm certain there will be.
You met with the biological father and mother this past week. Is that at their request, your request? Is that just re-interviewing them again?
That was at the request of law enforcement. It's not uncommon to talk to the family in investigations like this. I've got time for one more question.
Just overall, how has this investigation impacted the morale at your department, especially with all the scrutiny coming online?
Let me put it to you like this. If my kid was missing, this is the team I'd want on it. The men and women of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the FBI partners, the other local agencies, the Secret Service, everyone who's had a hand in this case is doing everything they can to find Sebastian. Morale's high. We are here and we are dedicated. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for keeping Sebastian in the public. Please continue to publicize this photo. Thank you all.
The video you are about to see is from early Monday morning, February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light believed to be people with flashlights in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home. It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues.
We have had several clips that have come in.
And this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know, there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact that there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant. This video shows suspicious activity in the immediate area the night Sebastian disappeared. Could one of these subjects have been Sebastian? Did he meet and leave with someone? Sebastian's father says his son would not go with a stranger.
It's up in the air for me because I don't think he would get into a vehicle with somebody unless he knew them.
So what exactly are we seeing here? I know investigators are doing what they can to try enhancing the video for any more clues. For now, this video is now part of the Sebastian Rogers missing person file, and I'm told it could become more significant depending on where the ongoing investigation leads. We'll be following that. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Nick. Of course, the search for Sebastian continues, with detectives now looking into any possibility of foul play. If you think you can help, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
They're not talking to me.
There are reports that they have packed up an RV and left the house that Sebastian disappeared from. Any idea why they would do that?
I have no idea. I have no information. They weren't talking to me, so I was out here trying to find my son.
In the Proudfoot's first interview, Chris said that the communication between the three of them is great, and they communicate every day with Sebastian's dad, Seth. They all work together as a team to come up with solutions that's best for Sebastian.
In two different households, and the communication between the three of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
Nancy Grace's interview with the Proudfoots was filled with lies and inconsistencies. They talked about the lights that were outside their house. They said it's floodlights, solar lights in the garden, and lights above their garage that never goes off. We found one light on the porch near the front door. Two solar lights in the garden. Two lights above the garage. There is two lights in their backyard. The Proudfoots have 3 bedrooms on the bottom floor. The master bedroom is on one side of the house, and the 2 other bedrooms are on the other side, so Katie would have to walk through the kitchen to get to Sebastian's room. She would immediately know if Sebastian was getting breakfast or hiding on the morning he went missing. This is the master bedroom where Katie and Chris sleep. These are the other 2 bedrooms. One bedroom Sebastian disappeared from. This is the bonus room on the second floor. This is the back door that leads to the backyard.
Listening.
Long enough.
Okay, you sound angry. Talk to me.
Oh,
What?
I'm very. Well,
So
I
talk.
understand that, but let me help you with something.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of the information that I've been listening to on your show, coming from Chloe, the questions that are coming through people, It's very sickening and disgusting, to be personally honest with you. So let me go ahead and address a few things to help y'all out. Since
Okay.
Chloe, you're the PI, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. You haven't even called me. You ain't done anything. First off,
Heather has been
Heather
in
is the
communication.
only one. Heather is the only one who has reached out to me or to my wife.
The
So,
problem is,
okay, I understand that. So let me just smash something real quick.
okay,
Okay, first and foremost, anything that goes on between me and my wife is not a damn bit of anybody's personal business. I don't care what you think. I don't care what y'all got to say. That'd be like me splashing all your business out to the world.
okay,
It does not matter what goes on in my house. We're looking for my son. And everybody out there that's got all these negativity, disgusting comments and questions that y'all think you know anything about, when honestly, you don't know a damn thing. And that's the problem. You assume, you speculate, all this crap. You have no idea what me, my family, my wife, everybody involved is going through, to include Seth, his mom, and everybody else. Because it's the vile, disgusting crap that comes out of people's mouth. Yes, I'm a very pissed off stepfather to this whole situation.
okay. And I understand and I hear what you're saying. But again,
So let me help y'all with something. Because
okay,
y'all said some shit that's really, y'all have no, it's really none of your damn business. But since you brought it up, I'm going to clear it.
okay.
My parents didn't go to Alaska 2 days after we went missing.
I don't think
Why my
anybody said
parents
that.
went to Alaska was because my stepfather went for work. Now, I have terabytes of videos of Seth on here saying some vile stuff. I've got videos of everybody and their comments out here.
But
Trust me, what I'm bringing to you is not that I'm just pulling stuff out of the air. Being outside of the box does nothing but cause speculation. And it causes people to call in tips that don't mean anything, that you're taking sources away from the investigation because Joe Schmo down the street thinks that my family owns a cemetery. We own a funeral home. Like, where in the hell do you get up with this stuff? And not
Okay.
you. I'm saying the public. Here, let me add this to the thing. We don't own a private plane. We don't own 78 pieces of property. We don't own a private yacht. What else do you guys want to come up saying that we own? Like we're millionaires or something, like we've got this money growing off trees, which, by the way, it'd be great if we did, because I guarantee you we wouldn't need anybody's help because he'd have been home by now. With your viewers who say I'm drunk and belligerent, no, I'm just a pissed off dad. So let's get that real clear.
At his house, he didn't need it.
You are correct. No, you are correct. You just hit the nail on the head. You just hit the nail on the head. Seth has opened his mouth. He has said a lot of things he probably shouldn't. And he needs to learn how to close it because, quite honestly, none of that has anything to do with finding Sebastian.
Right. And you know what? But Chris, let's keep it that way because Seth has said he is not going to do that anymore, and he hasn't.
Bullshit. Let me explain to you why. That Sunday when I went to that vigil and spoke to Seth, very calmly, very respectfully, we were having a good conversation. While everybody stood behind me and would snap the little pictures and stuff, Heather came up in the conversation. She saw us. It was not a aggressive conversation. It was actually a good one. But see, it wasn't 3 hours later. Seth was on YouTube on somebody else's show, sitting and he's blaming Katie, my wife, for Sebastian's disappearance. Now, unless you got cold hard facts, which you don't open your mouth. Because all you're doing is making an ass out of yourself because you're assuming. So here, let me explain to y'all something that y'all don't get a chance to see. Because unfortunately, we're meeting on a very bad circumstance. Okay, but Seth can contest to this. So, Seth comes to Tennessee. He gets his job in the security force. He wants to be law enforcement. He has had a dream of being law enforcement since I have known him. There was a chance for something that came up, and I called him and said, look, I think you should apply for this. I think you'd be great at it, which is the job he currently has. Now,
He goes to he gets accepted. He's excited. He calls me and says, "Thank you, man. I really appreciate you helping me. That I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time." But
Okay.
y'all don't get to see that, and Seth's not going to tell you that. During the middle of the training, Seth decided one day he wants to call me, tell me he doesn't think he's going to complete it. But I told him, I said, "Look, you're going to sit there and you're going to go back in there and you're going to complete this training because your son thinks you hang the moon and the sun. So you need to go in there and prove to your son that dreams and goals can be met."
Mm-hmm.
I have
Right.
been very, very supportive of him trying to do these things. I have told him on Sunday, I supported him then, I would support him now. But I will not stand by and watch somebody be straight up disrespectful and accuse people and say things that have absolutely no bearing. Absolutely nothing. That is a straight up no, and I can't believe people would think I would tear down flyers or posters of my missing stepson.
Okay, but
Which,
again,
another thing
And
which
I
is kind
will.
of funny that you bring this up because some people, and yes, they are pertinent to the investigation, have said that there's a video floating around of me tearing these things down.
mm-hmm.
If you got it, post it. Because
Oh, I
if you
agree.
ain't got it, shut up.
And I mean, I'll say on record from myself, I have never seen that.
And I
Exactly.
also want to
Because
say,
it doesn't exist.
I'm sure it doesn't.
and I want to say on record that in my conversation earlier with Chris and Katie, Katie said she had one request of me, and that was that when I do these interviews, that I, at some point in the interview, remind people to hand out the flyers and put them up everywhere.
Please, all we're begging. I don't know how to beg you even more. I don't know what it's going to take for America, the world, whoever to understand. We are begging you to hang posters, talk to whomever, spread the words, keep your eyes open, and when you find something, don't wait 2 weeks to make a report. Because let me tell you something, that's what's been going on.
Yeah.
Don't call your best friend and
Right.
say, "Hey, I think I've seen this kid." Don't call these investigators. No offense, Chloe and Heather. You don't call them first. You don't call Seth. You don't call anybody but law enforcement only and make your report
And
immediately.
I will say, so I don't want
So
you to think we're not
for the record,
passing
right.
tips
So
to law
for the record, I think what folks need to understand, because no, y'all don't know, y'all don't have all the information that Katie and I and some of the information that Seth has. You don't. And I understand that. And I'm sorry that we can't give you every single thing under the sun. I wished we truly could. But unfortunately we can't.
Right.
But when you do make a report and you give them a name and a number, you tell them the location, you tell them a very detailed description and everything. You don't expect to get a call back from law enforcement, period. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, but they don't have the time to stop and answer every single call back when they're looking for missing children. Not just ours, but there's so many children out there that are missing.
Right.
So I'm sorry that some of y'all feel that you deserve an answer, but it's not. And I'm sorry, it's just going to sound rude when I say this, but you don't deserve an answer. You'll get the answer when we get the answer. The family gets the answer on a missing boy, not strangers. They're not calling y'all to tell you. They're not going to expend every single asset, every single minute of the day on one child.
Of course.
You have to keep in mind how many children are missing, and it has to be equally dissolved among everybody. And I'm not going to lie to you. It hurt. It hurt the day that they came in on day 8 and told us that they have to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it ain't nothing. There was more of a gut punch to take than being told that. I mean, mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell all the Sherlock Holmes and Watsons out there, since They have their PhDs in criminal justice and forensics and all this. Since they've got it, by all means, we welcome you to the case. We welcome you to come in here and show us and show these law enforcement officers that have so many years of experience that they don't know anything. We'd love for you to do it. So I'm on your show, and I'm sure it is blown up. So the more people that come on, the more money this show makes.
No, I make no money
We
off
don't make money. We're
We
not
make zero
monetized.
money.
It's not
And we
You're
monetized.
don't
not a
take
monetary
donations.
show.
No, they don't monetize.
No.
We do not
Right.
Okay.
monetize. We do not monetize. It costs me money to do
The
nothing.
reason why I'm asking that question, okay,
Mhm.
is because if people are true to what they say in their heart, especially those, and they know who I'm talking about, the clickers,
Yeah.
the shows that make this money,
Yep.
I would love for you to make a public announcement for every dollar you've made. If you truly do this for the goodness of your heart, every dollar that you have made, you should donate it to the cause, not to your personal gain.
Right.
Well, yeah, we don't. Like I
But
said, we make
Yeah,
zero
we don't
money. It
make
costs
money.
us money to
and
do
I
that.
appreciate it and I respect
Yeah.
that. Thank y'all ladies for that. I will give you that. Sebastian walked out of the house, stepped off the porch, and has vanished into thin air. That is what I think, because that is what I know. I've been part of the investigation since day one.
Okay.
And if anybody else out there that's got some information in regards to where Sebastian has went, because last time I
Right,
checked,
but
there's
are
not
you
one shred of
confirming that you know
evidence.
he walked off the porch is what I'm asking.
I'm telling you, unless this kid is just in the thin air on my front porch, he sure had to go somewhere, so he had to walk off the front porch. The description is still the same. It hasn't changed from 60 days ago. However, I will say this much. Some of the information that's out on some of these posters and flyers, we have actually requested to have some of that changed, but it hasn't happened. So I'll walk you through what the description actually should be. Sebastian was wearing long black pants. Think of the 1970s style Adidas style pants. You know how they have the white stripes down the side? That style of pants on. He had a long sleeve shirt, not a
Okay.
sweatshirt, not a hoodie, a long sleeve shirt. On the front of that shirt is probably one of three depictions: Halloween, Star Wars, or Minecraft. I said he had a long sleeve black shirt on, and on that shirt had one of three depictions. I didn't say he had three. I didn't say anything. I just said one.
Okay,
Right,
can
I'm just confused
second?
by how have you not been able to identify which of those three depictions is missing?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Can you tell me every single shirt in your closet right now and everything that's on your
No,
shirt?
but if I had
Okay,
to
then.
choose between
Right, but
three
wait a
of
minute,
them, if
Well,
I had
hold
to
on a
choose
minute.
between three of them, I could.
You're saying three of them, but I'm
Well,
telling
you
you,
listed three things. I'm just confused.
I listed what could possibly be on the shirt. I'm not saying he had three shirts with three different depictions on them. That's not what I said. I'm telling you, I don't know what exactly was on the front of the shirt is what
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so
Sebastian's clothes mostly consist of, if it has a picture on it, one of the three things. Those are his three favorite things.
Okay, so
Halloween,
what you're saying is he has,
Minecraft.
multiple Minecraft shirts, multiple Star Wars shirts, multiple Halloween shirts. So it's likely he had a shirt that had one of those things on, but there's not just three of those shirts.
I'm telling you that he had a long sleeve shirt on with one of the three depictions on it. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not telling you any more shirts. I'm not telling. So
No, I'm not
I know
trying
what
to
you're
be difficult.
asking.
I'm just trying to understand.
I understand that, but you're asking me if he had three different long sleeve shirts with three different depictions on it, and
No, I
I'm
think I
telling
understand
you,
what you're explaining. Like, so Sebastian had multiple shirts that had a Minecraft graphic on it. Sebastian had multiple shirts that had Halloween. Sebastian had multiple shirts that had Star Wars. I guess maybe several of them were long sleeve and black. So you can't identify.
here, let's just make this very simple.
Okay.
He had a long sleeve black shirt on with a picture on the front of it. There
Okay.
you go.
started this, he was very kind to me. I know it's a shock, but he was very sweet.
Shock. Jeez.
I asked, he knows I'm kidding him. And I asked.
Okay, so let me finish, because that's the problem. When I go to make the statement, people want to interrupt and try to say, well, this and that. No, you wanted the answer. I'm giving you the answer. Now, when I answered that question, I told people Sebastian got a spanking. He got one lick on his butt outside of his clothes. If somebody can tell me how that's abuse to a child, explain to me.
Can you confirm when that happened?
I don't. That was years ago.
I got spanked by a belt and wooden spoon by my mom for years.
So, but let's not sidetrack. Let's stay on board. Okay. So the question about the CPS thing that came up to play that everybody wants to tie to this belt is not what it was. So as it stands, Sebastian went to school one day. He made a statement to a teacher. The teacher reports it to CPS. CPS comes to the house. That case has nothing to do with Sebastian getting spanked. That had everything to do with Sebastian didn't like being in trouble. So he thought by reporting it to a teacher, they were going to come to the house and they're going to take me out of the house and do this and do that. That is what the CPS case was about. And yes, I laughed at it because when I explained to Sebastian, very detailed, what happened, he thought it was a joke. When the CPS lady shows up and looks at him and says, Sebastian, you can't false report. That will get people in trouble and you can get in trouble. And then she explained to him what happens.
What did he say you did to him?
Can I ask you, what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China when it comes to the disappearance of Sebastian?
Because I'll tell you why. Because you're wondering why people are coming at you. And it's because he was in your home last. That was the last place he was seen.
Yes,
so
he was.
When we hear these things, it's like, okay, let's just clear it up and see what happens. Because I'll tell you why. Because people, I'm not saying me, but I've seen people say, hey, he was hitting his child. He reported it to his teacher. Did something happen? Was there an explosive incident that happened?
No, absolutely nothing of that nature.
Okay.
And for people to not understand, when you discipline a child, there's a difference in discipline and abuse. There truly is a difference.
But I think hitting anybody with a belt is abuse. I'm sorry, I do. And a lot of people agree with me, and that's the problem.
And
so
guess
we have
what?
a difference
That's
of
the
opinion.
great thing. That's the great thing about having your opinion.
Yes.
That's an opinion. That's not a fact. That's opinion.
Okay. I think a belt is abuse, but that's my again.
Well,
that is my
if I was leaving bruises and marks on a child, that's abuse. That would be considered abuse.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
so by definition,
that's weird.
That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. You can say your opinion, and that is fine, but you have to back it up and say, what I am stating is just an opinion. There's no fact to it. When you don't say that, you leave it open to interpretation for a lot of people to take it and run with it. That was a lot of the problems with this.
There you
When I
go.
was growing up, I just want to say this. When I was growing up, my mom spanked me with a belt, wooden spoon, everything, and she's the greatest mom I've ever. I mean, like, just awesome. I didn't ever feel like it was abuse. Things have changed though over time. Like nowadays, it's considered abuse, and maybe that sort of is affecting how our society has changed quite a bit. But but the thing is it used to be totally normal, and it is still sort of normal in some families, as long if you're not sitting there just wailing away for hours, like creating the bruises like Chris was saying. It's just sort of I think it's sort of normal for
go back to the Sebastian deal.
Okay.
Katie reported she heard a thud. And that's it.
But didn't
Tell them to
she
knock it
ask?
off and
So
go to bed.
I've seen different reports of she heard a thud. She said, "I don't know what you're doing in there, but you need to go to bed." I've seen other reports that Sebastian responded back to her. If he did respond back to her, do you know what he said?
Yeah, he replied, "Yes, ma'am."
Okay.
I mean,
No, I mean we're clearing things up.
right.
That's all this is. Let's just clear it up. You know.
There was a
That-
noise. Katie heard it. She responded. Sebastian answered.
Okay, and see, people out there, they want to help, and it feels like that you just are like that pissed you off that we even asked that. You know, and they just,
What pisses me off is when the statement is out there. There was a thud. She asked him what, he responded back and moving on.
And around what time was that?
I'm not going to give you details as far as
I mean,
time.
Katie gave details, but
Well, guess what? That is Katie. I'm not giving you those kind of details.
No, she gave details publicly.
That is fine.
Okay.
Katie can give you that. I am not giving you that information. I will tell you this. It was between the time we were on the phone to the time we got off the phone. That's what I'll give you. That's it.
has Sebastian ever left the house barefoot that you know of?
Has Sebastian gone outside of the house barefooted? Yes. Before, has he ran off? No.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's how you were asked. I can't go into details on that, but here's what I will tell you that's public. Our subdivision is very dark.
Mm-hmm.
There's no street lights in the subdivision whatsoever. If you go online, Google it, whatever, you'll see that there's absolutely no street lights in the subdivision. None.
Right.
Is there a possibility that some cameras may not pick up somebody walking in front of them because how dark it is? Yes. Trust me, for everyone out there that, cameras will pick up and all this. No, I promise you, not all cameras have the best quality as, the stuff that you see on TV and, you see a demo of a camera in a store. It's different when you put it on a house and different elements. So, he's had sleeping issues. I mean, he doesn't really sleep a lot. That's why he's been, but that's been his whole life. That's not just been like a segment. I believe Seth has even mentioned this before as well. The only time, I've seen a couple times where he slept really well, but that's when after a hard day of playing, if he's helped with outside work, but for the most part, he's had issues sleeping.
Is it common for you and Katie to talk as long as you did that night?
Sure.
Okay. Seth is here. I've asked him to join us. Insightful One, if Seth jumps on, can you please put him on the screen because I can't because of my computer.
Right. I got it.
Thank you.
Have you guys seen the dog scent track? That because you actually showed it to me, right? Remember on the map, Chris? I don't know if you're interested in. It was kind of an interesting route up a street.
Well, and are you referring to the day 1 through 4 dog tracks? Because some of those are.
Well, he had a dog scent outside the front door and sort of around by where the fixed light was on the flashlight, and then north, and then around to a retention pond, something like that. Just short. But anyways, see you later, guys. Out there.
Okay. See ya.
Take care, Gray.
Bye, Gray.
Right. Well, do me a favor. Let's pause that question because you just diverted away from what she asked, and let's clear this out.
Okay. Go ahead.
We
Chris.
want the facts. Let's get the facts straight.
Okay.
So yes, I did tell you Sebastian was not excited about going to his father's house because online school. Seth was aware of this because Seth stood in my house with me, Katie, and Sebastian in my kitchen and had this conversation where Seth asked his son about, you don't want to go to online school? And Sebastian's retort was, no, I don't. But
Okay.
I don't really care about playing tit for tat. I understand that this may be a reason why he wanted to run away, so to speak, if that's the case.
Right.
But we're not going into this. We're not going to play this tit for tat on social media. We're not doing this.
Okay, Seth, go ahead.
Chris, unbeknownst to you, had already talked to Sebastian. He knew this wouldn't be a permanent thing. And me and him had already spoke.
Well, that right there is a conversation you should have had with Katie and myself about what your plans were. What Seth was saying is that if I had known the conversation that him and Sebastian had, then I would know the whole thing. But the downside is that's where Seth should have had that same conversation with me and Katie, and that didn't happen. But this goes right back to, here's the thing. If you're saying that because he didn't want to go live with his dad, he potentially ran away, is that a possibility? Sure, we'll put that out there.
Okay.
But quite honestly, what goes on between Seth, me, his mom, and our households is none of the public's business. If it had something to do with his disappearance, I would understand that, but it doesn't. Here's what I'll say. Everything is on the table. Nothing has been taken off the table, period. That's the same statement law enforcement has made. That's the same statement I'm going to tell you every single day in and day out.
Katie might son to your mother and father. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Say it one more time.
Do you not want to say that? Well, we can move on. So
No. I want to hear it.
There's a rumor out there, Chris,
that
your mom and your dad have Sebastian. It's been brought up to me.
Seth, you know darn good and well, you got a question about my
I'm
mother.
just asking.
You pick up the
Did they
phone
take him
and
somewhere
you
to
call.
like a boot camp or anything like that? And Katie just thought I wouldn't accept it.
I don't think
Hold
Seth
on.
is being accusatory. I think he's just trying to clear up a bunch of BS that's been online.
Right, and I'm trying, and I'm telling you, if he's had this suspicion, he's got my mother's phone number. He can pick up the phone and call her. She is not afraid to
No,
answer any
Chris, I'm not
questions.
saying you. I don't want to talk to your mom. I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to Katie.
Well, it's real
And I'm
simple,
just
Seth.
asking to put it to the rest.
You have seen the video footage of Seth
haven't.
on Sunday. Don't tell me you hadn't. I know you have. You sat in the room
No, I
with all
haven't.
the agents.
No, they didn't show me the video footage, buddy.
So you didn't see, you weren't sitting in a room
Wait a minute.
with law enforcement, the district attorney, when they showed you a video, when you wanted proof of life, saying that you hadn't seen proof since Friday. When you've been at my house the first 3 damn days.
Sunday, buddy.
Chris, let Seth speak. Go ahead, Seth.
Chris, they showed me video proof of him coming out of Texas Roadhouse on Sunday.
On a Sunday night. You damn right.
Just, Chris,
Seth, I got a problem with you sitting here making these accusations. Because if you got a problem with them, guess what?
Let's squash it.
Okay, here's all the public knowledge you need on this deal. Law enforcement has talked to my parents, my whole family. Once again, the statement is true, what law enforcement says. Just because you hear a rumor doesn't make it true.
Chris,
I don't think he said it was true. I think he's just trying to clarify.
He said
That's not clarifying. No, stop sitting here trying to defend his actions. Stop.
Okay.
The fact is, Chris, is I'm trying to squash the rumor. We're both here. Squashing the rumor.
Seth, there is no rumor. You know my parents were not with Katie on Sunday.
That's all I'm doing, Chris.
No, you're causing a problem because you know damn good and well where my parents were at their house on Sunday night. They weren't near Katie. They weren't near Sebastian. And if you got a problem, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call her. Be an adult. Be a responsible adult. And just call her.
Chris. Can you hear me, Chris?
Oh, I can hear you.
Because all I'm hearing is anger and attitude from you. What I'm trying
And you
to
should, Seth. You should. Because what you're doing is bullshit, and you know it.
To squash it.
Yeah, I think that is a great rumor to try to squash. That one's on Facebook, and the rumor is actually that about your mom, her car being parked at like Worsham's and him getting in.
Okay, so here's the answer. The final answer to
It's
this.
not just an online rumor because people have driven up to me and personally spoken about this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can I make the statement?
I wish
This is very simple. This conversation has nothing to do on social media. You want to have this conversation, Seth? You call me, you get Heather, you get Chloe on the phone. Hell, I'll do you one better, and I will get Bobby and Carter on the phone, and we'll all sit down and have this little fucking powwow.
we're not going to have a powwow like that. But I would
Well, then guess what?
The situation, and I would love for it to be private because I believe a lot of what is happening right now should not be public.
So explain to me why you don't want Bobby and Carter involved.
I didn't say I didn't want Bobby and Carter involved. I said I was referring to your tone, which is very angry.
Oh, I'm very pissed.
I know that. I think we just all need to take a breath because no one is accusing anyone of anything. We are trying to dispel things because in turn, dispelling these things will take
so full of
some
shit.
of the BS off of you.
Whoa. That was uncalled for.
And I know you are frustrated.
You have no idea what
I'm
I
not
am.
saying
So stop right there, Seth. Stop. Let me help you with something real quick. You want rumors to die? You want to stop with all the stuff that's coming up and flooding these PI's inbox? How many terabytes do you want of videos where you have gone out there and you've said some very harsh things that should never have come out? You never should have. And now don't take this the wrong way. That is a conversation for
I'm not
later.
here to swing mud.
Let me finish.
There are things that I put out there.
Once again, you can't talk to a fucking log.
Okay,
Chris,
so
Let me finish.
Chris, that's not productive.
It's not. So let me finish. You all are playing one-sided here.
no, we're not.
I don't think that's fair.
So then tell Seth when I'm talking, let me finish.
Okay, Seth, let him finish.
Yes, Seth, please let him finish.
There's conversations you've had that should have never been out in the public light, and you know it. And because you did that, it started a lot of rumors. Own it, accept it, and move on from it. I told you on Sunday, I supported you. I would be there for you no matter what, how ugly this got. But I'm not going to stand by and watch you disrespect me, my family, my wife, or anybody for that matter. A lot of rumors got started because you went on social media and you opened your mouth and said some things you shouldn't have said. Accept it. I'll show you the videos. Now, in hindsight, that is a conversation you and I need to have offline, away from everybody else, in our own private conversation. You and I, we sit down and we can talk. Literally, Lise, you had people watch us doing it Sunday at that vigil.
Well,
They were snapping pictures because they were trying to get some juicy information.
What did you say? Go ahead, Chris.
Right. Seth, I know what you're doing and I understand the plea, but hang tight, man. You and I we need to get off this panel. You, me, Katie, PIs need to get on a phone call.
Absolutely.
Not on here. Our message is simple. Find Sebastian, you see it, you say something, you call it in. Don't wait. Don't go down this track, man. Don't. I'm looking out for you. Don't. Regardless of how you feel about me. Because I can tell you now, I'm not the most liked person in the world. And I'm perfectly okay to accept that. But if your heart's in the right place and you're doing this for the right reasons, it's not about me. It's not about Seth. This ain't about Katie. This is about 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, our son. And all I'm asking for y'all is to please tone everything down, focus on the positive, keep pushing the message out there. And trust me, when we find Sebastian, when he comes home, let the party begin.
We want to get to this breaking news right now. I'm Mark Kelly from the WKRN.com alert desk. We're expecting any moment right now an update on the search for that missing teenager, Sebastian Rogers. Let's listen in live.
Here in a few moments, I'll go through some slides and show you what we've done over the past 4 days of searching. Really wanted to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safely.
Okay, and when Chief talks about searching your homes, if you've got a farm, we're well aware that the tendency to follow creeks is great, and we've actually done some case studies, some history on calls and searches in the past where young men or young women have traveled to creeks. So we want you to look at creeks. We want you to look at ponds, and if you look at a pond, look for foot tracks around the pond. And then we'll go into, when Chief's ready, we're going to go into pictures and we'll show you our operational periods and the maps that we use to track our searchers. Okay, so this is day one, and all of the rings you see are a fixed-wing aircraft, TBI's fixed-winged aircraft, and they use a FLIR, and they do a continual circle on a 2-mile ring. And the video quality and the pictures that they produce are amazing. And the lines that you see that are going all over the place, the green and the purple and the blues, those are helicopters, THP Metro. And then all of the lines in the middle, when you draw that in, those are our foot searchers. So in the first 2 days, we logged over 2,000 miles of personnel on foot doing searches in those search areas. If you want to go to the next page. So that's day 2, and you can see we're continuing to expand those search areas, and you'll see clues, you'll see markers. If a searcher finds something, they mark it. We send a detective or detectives to that scene or to that area, and if they find evidence, we haven't found any evidence, and but if they find something that they think is substantial, CID investigates it. Go on to the next day. That's the next day TBI was back. That second day we had really bad weather with rain, and so these are the rings from TBI again, and they did some almost tri-oval type figures when we were looking at particular areas, and they were looking at streams at that time, and a lot of helicopter, and then more ground troops, and then we got one more day, and then today we're expanding west. And you can see those areas that personnel are searching. And so what we do is we get them in, and we've got an app that they utilize, and they create tracks, and you can see the tracks in those sections as they do the search. And we've got several other things going on. We're utilizing drones, K9, and UTVs, ATVs, horses, aircraft, and anything at our disposal to get Sebastian located.
Like Director Widener said, what you didn't see on there was any drone track. The drones aren't tracked on Sartopo. What you didn't see on there were several assets that didn't have the app that day. So what you're seeing is what we know we have tracked. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. We have no evidence to disprove that. The family's been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement and our investigation. We are truly operating under the assumption that there's a child missing that needs our help. So if the public is out there and you have a house close by or not close by, right? Check your property twice a day. If you find something, call us. If you have trail cams out on properties that you hunt, check them. If there's an image that you think could be Sebastian, call us. Anything, any tip that you have, call us. We want to bring Sebastian home.
And when the chief says, even if it's not right here, so I actually spoke to the incident commander of a search operation that happened west of here, and a 14-year-old went missing and was found 9 days later, 6.2 miles from home. So we're looking at, we don't want to go out too far, too fast, but even if you live in Davidson County, if you live in Robertson County, if you live anywhere in Sumner County and adjoining counties that you think he could have made it to your property, search those creeks, streams, tributaries, ponds, barns, outbuildings, vacant homes, anything, any place that you think he could be.
One tip, if you're searching your property, is to search it in pairs. If we have aerial assets up and they see someone walking alone through a field, we're going to deploy resources to make sure that is not Sebastian. Secondly, if you're out searching your field and something happens to you, someone needs to be able to call for help and tend to you while we're on the way to help you. So if you're searching, please search in pairs and be safe.
What's the weather been like to possibly affect the search?
Weather, our primary concern with weather is for Sebastian. So the rain that we got and the cold temperatures yesterday and into last night gave us concern for hypothermia. But for rescuers, we put rain gear on when we go. Our mounted people, we're using a lot of tactical officers at night with FLIR or with night vision. And so our search personnel, the weather does not bother them. They go and they're going to perform the search. We're looking at rain tomorrow. The temperature is going to stabilize a little bit. 245 and 17 are feeding us weather on request, and National Weather Service is working with us every day, sending us information if anything changes. So,
Chief, I know you guys had asked for doorbell cam and surveillance camera. Have you guys been able, since Sunday night, Monday morning, been able to actually put eyes on Sebastian? Has any video actually shown him walking?
We have had several clips that have come in. Several of them we've been able to dispel that's not Sebastian on that clip. We are still working every lead that comes in. So as the video comes in, our detectives, we're working really well alongside the TBI and all of our other law enforcement partners in the region to make sure that we're getting on them just as quickly as possible.
But there hasn't been one video that you guys have had that you said that's...
There's not a confirmed sighting of Sebastian on camera.
Gotcha.
Was any of the canines able to pick up on a scent or something that can lead you to maybe a direction where he might have been?
We've done that. We've actually cast the dogs at intersections to see if they take us. And our dogs are scent specific, and we have scent articles from the home, and they have not. We have gotten some tracks away from the home, and we haven't had anything that leads us to Sebastian, obviously.
You mentioned that you've covered about 2,000 miles, correct? What's the word on the amount of volunteers and people helping?
We'll address that later. We've still got plenty of, and what you got to understand is span of control and manageability. And I know there's a lot of talk out there. You know, you need to get more people out there, but we've got to do it coordinated, and we've got to be able to monitor and ensure the safety of our searchers. So right now we've got so many public safety assets that we can track and we can communicate with that we are in good shape right now. And we are discussing the possibility of going into volunteers.
We have begun the conversation of coordinating with local volunteer groups. Should we need them, there's a plan in place. What I don't want is to have 1,000 people out in the woods, someone get injured, and now we have to deploy resources to them that should be deployed to get Sebastian home safely. As of right now, I've talked to the FBI, I've talked to world-renowned detectives from the Middle Tennessee area, and every one of them has said we're doing everything that we should be doing. We're doing everything that we can. I'm open to ideas. If someone's got an idea that we're not applying yet, let me know. I'll apply it.
Do you know how many hours, how many miles you guys have clocked in and searched so far?
2,000 by foot the first 2 days. We're not tracking hours now. We'll put all that together. We'll do an after-action report, but now we're going through the day, preparing this afternoon for tomorrow. We've got a team that's doing that. We've even got the tax assessor's office working with us on additional mapping for streams and creeks that we want to make sure we're covering. And I'll tell y'all, we're hitting streams and creeks heavy. So that's something we need done is creeks, streams, tributaries checked, because the watershed from the Tyree Springs area coming down in here, one thing I've learned about autism is the stamina, the pain threshold, the drive in these men and women, young boys and young girls, is greater than ours, okay? So the particular case in northern Mississippi and West Tennessee, this young man walked until he passed out. And when they got to him, he was laying face down, and they were like, "Oh my!" But he was unconscious, and they've done stories on him, and so that's something we're looking at, and we urge people to get out and check those locations. A lot of farms in Sumner County, a lot of creeks in Sumner County. Check them.
I hate to cut you guys off, but I'm really focused on getting Sebastian home, and we need to get back out and make sure we're doing everything we can. I really appreciate you guys being here and covering the story, and as soon as there's an update, I'll let you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back here at the WKRN.com Alert Desk, you just got the latest update from law enforcement there in Sumner County as the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers now enters day 4, and they continue making that push for property owners in the area to continue searching their own property twice a day looking for Sebastian. At this point, they say Sebastian walked off. The family is cooperating with the investigation. We're going to have much more coming up on News 2 at 3, but now back to your local programming.
I'm side-eyeing them. I'm side-eyeing them, and you know he's been spot on with that. I mean, you can't continue in my position to protect a guy that doesn't deserve to be protected. He's hung himself. He's brought this on himself, and you know those of you that were out here that were upset at me because I was trying to keep the peace, I get it. I hope you'll understand I was doing a job, but there's no protection anymore. If you guys want to go all in on him, you do what you want to do, because there is no partnership anymore. It's over. It's done. That Chris Proudfoot had with one of our PIs, and that phone call was recorded. It was shared within a few members of our team, and somehow or another it got out, and it was not released by either one of our PIs. Let me be very clear on that. It was not released by me, obviously, because it destroyed everything that I'd been working to build. But what happened is, you guys remember, I'm sure, that Web Sleuth interview where it turned into a train wreck, and Chris was on there, Chloe, the PI, was on there. He was attacking her. She talked about, you know, some documents that she hadn't released. Chris got mad about that. He was on the phone with Heather, our PI, and he was calling Chloe everything but a white woman. And I mean, he was disgusting towards her. He threatened Seth on that phone call. You know, and it's just been too much. I mean, calling and pranking people while there's a child that's missing, and then, you know, acting like you know, just essentially making fun of an autistic child. I mean, it's just, you know, one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, and there's just not, there's not any more, there's no more partnership, and there's not going to be. It's, you know, we're going to do our thing with Seth, and they can do their thing, and if they want to shoot arrows, then that's fine, but we're not going to sit here and take arrows anymore and not shoot them back. We've had it. We're done. Seth's done. I checked with him 3 times today to make sure that this is where he was at, and this is 100% where he's at, and we're not going back. So it's over with that whole partnership routine. I think they damn sure know more than what they're letting on to.
I mean,
and I mean, let's face it. All right, everybody's got the records. They've seen the records. All that bullshit. I mean, I think we can all agree that whether I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know that somebody's hands were involved in this, but the environment that kid was living in, and Seth's mom said it yesterday, then she said something different today, but she alluded yesterday to the environment that child was living in. So If somebody didn't do something to him, somebody created an environment that made that kid not feel like he was safe. So are you responsible literally or are you responsible figuratively? But responsible is responsible. And when you don't get out and search for your child, and you say that it's because law enforcement told you not to, that's bullshit. I'm searching for my child, and I'm just going to say it. Everybody's been saying it, and I told you guys when I got pissed that there was no turning back, and I'm not tired. I may look tired. I'm not tired. I'm pissed, and I've had it. I've had it with his bullshit. I've had it with him disrespecting women. I've had it. I'm done. And he's going to see the side of me now that he saw on the phone a week and a half ago when he got slick with me.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And Seth, he threatened Seth. He called in and pretended to be some guy, that he wasn't on a talk show, just cracking jokes and, just acting like a clown. We've got a laser focused dad that's been looking for his child, and we got a clown over here acting like a clown, being a clown. We're just not going to partner. We're not going to put up a facade anymore that we're partnering with people that don't seem to give a shit. And, we're just, we're not going to do it. We're not going to act like it. We're not going to say, hey, while we're on here, we don't want anybody saying anything bad about the Proudfoots. We're not doing any of that. If y'all want to fire away, fire away. We don't give a shit anymore.
I want to just say a couple. Well, so one person said, be careful because his family has money. So they just said, be careful, Tony, his family has money. I know that doesn't worry you, but I just wanted to tell you that. Go ahead, Tony.
Randy Harris and Seth Rogers. So those guys have linked. I got Randy's permission to represent Seth. They talk daily. Randy sends him scripture. They talk back and forth. It's a very, very unique and cool and fun relationship for those two guys. Yes, I'm the spokesperson for both families. I've been spending 99% of my time with Seth because there's not as much going on right now with Caleb's case, unfortunately. I will tell you that we just secured an interview with Brian Enton for Caleb's family. I've been working on that for about three or 4 weeks. 99% of my time right now has been spent, working with Seth, and the last 8 days has been cleaning up messes and trying to protect the Proudfoots, and we're just not going to do it anymore. And our whole team is not going to do it anymore. We're not doing it on Facebook. We're not protecting anybody on Facebook. We're done with all that. If you got me protecting the Proudfoots by controlling Seth, and then you got Chris out there firing arrows, it's not fair to Seth, and we're just not going to do it anymore. So, I don't give a flip about somebody that's got money. I mean, I'm not exactly a broke old man either, and I'm not running from anybody. I don't hide behind my name. I don't use fake names. I don't do any of that. I mean, I am who I am, and I'm easy to get a hold of. And this is about a missing child. It's not about anything else. And I just don't give a damn about all that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody in the public believed in that new pact anyway. This Ocean lady that's on here, she's been real good too. So chasing crime is coming, by the way.
Okay, great.
But, and if you can get more boxes, some of these people want to come up. We'll talk all night. I want everybody to know when that phone call got leaked that he was bad mouthing Chloe. That's all over the internet. In that extended phone call, you'll hear him threaten Seth in that phone call.
So Tony, did he get upset with you about last night's conversation?
Who's that?
Chris.
I don't know if he did or not. I don't give a shit anymore. I told you guys last night that I was about at the end of the rope with him, and we're done now. There's no partnership. There's no nothing. The gloves are off, and if he wants to sling bullshit towards us, he's going to get it back now. It's that whole partnership and truce. It's over. It's done.
Well, he wasn't much of a partner, was he, to begin with?
He's not much of anything. I got to tell you, I don't know who on our team leaked it to somebody that leaked it to a YouTuber, and essentially I think that's how it happened. But you know, at the end of the day, do you really want to keep something like that secret forever anyway? I mean, you listen to the way that he talked about our PI, and then you listen to him threatening Seth on there, and it all goes to his character and why no child would want to live in a house that that man was involved in, period. And how long did Chloe owe it to him to be assaulted on Web Sleuth's YouTube video? I mean, verbally assaulted, and sit there and be a professional and not even defend herself other than just to tell him to take a deep breath, settle down. And he was cussing her up one side and down the other, disrespecting her. I mean, and you know, here I am for the last 8 days trying to play peacemaker with a guy that literally treats women like filth.
Well, he wouldn't be in the position he was in if it weren't for his damn mouth.
That's it. That's it. And I'm not making the world hate him. He's made the world hate him. Yeah. You're exactly right. And you know, people are asking questions about the mattress, having him sleep in the garage, and all this shit that makes me sick at my stomach. I can tell you this, I don't know if that's true or not, but how many of y'all have been accused of making your child sleep in the garage?